Da, da, da. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to everyone on all the challenge or all the channels. Good morning. It is nice to be home. It is nice to be home. Make sure you let me know where you're coming in from. It's great to be home. We and my wife and I have been in Kentucky for the Kentucky Derby. If you saw the show last week, if you didn't, you should go to YouTube and catch it. It was pretty fun. I got dressed up in all the stuff for the Kentucky Derby and was doing the we did the Derby as well as you possibly could. And then we left there. We went and stayed at this amazing hotel in Greenville. Went over to Spartanburg and closed up a deal for one of our businesses. And then we're home. And then next, let's see, this week, where are we going? We're going to Las Vegas. So if you are out in Las Vegas, we're going to be there the 13th through the 17th. For unveiling of a company that we are shareholders and partners with. So that'll be fun. And we'll be doing the show from there actually after. So that event, we're going to unveil that. We've got press coming in and all kinds of stuff in Vegas. And that's going to happen Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So the Saturday show will be after all of this, and we'll be able to talk about some of the stuff that I haven't been able to talk about. We've been teasing it a little bit on some of the stuff that we're doing, but that'll be fun. We'll be able to announce that next Saturday. And what else do we do? Oh, yeah, we partnered up with a major medical organization this week. That was Tuesday and Wednesday of this week. So it has been absolutely bonkers crazy. And we love it. We love every step of it, but that's why we love this show. If those of you that are new to the show, welcome. I am Jason Cisneros. I am the host of the Built to Exit podcast that we do here, wherever you're watching from. But the show, the after show, we do on Twitter. We do a Spaces there as soon as we're done here. If you want to continue the conversation, it brings something up that you have a question about, or if you have questions at all in general, it doesn't have to be even about the show. Just come to Twitter at the end of the show. About 4 or 5 minutes takes me to get shifted over there. We're live right now on Twitter, on X, at the J Cisneros, but you want to go there. We have a bunch of people show up that own businesses, and we have really great conversations. Last week or 2 weeks ago, we call it the after party, the B2X after party. And 2 weeks ago, that show, the after party, the show was amazing. And then the after party, the things that we talked about and the things that we addressed were unbelievable. So we would love to have you show up if you find some value in what we're talking about today. So those of you that are new to the show, welcome. Those of you longtime watchers and participants, welcome back. We've got graduates here of the B2X system. We've got partners. We've got our strategists, our certified strategists that are here on all of the different channels. So welcome, welcome, welcome. For those of you that are new, just a brief intro to what this show is about. We talk about, as a business owner, the biggest leaps forward for us are small distinctions, right? Because when you get into business, there is a boatload. Like I say all the time, you have to do 1,000 things right in business, and you can do one and you're out of business. So it's very precarious. We are a unique group of human beings. Less than 10% of the earth calls themselves, I like the old school term called merchants, right? We're merchants. We are people that make things happen. We're the ones that take great ideas and commercialize them. We're the ones that create supply chains and solve problems and feed people and put roofs over people's heads and solve problems at the highest level. And we do that because it produces something called profit. It produces something called money. Us doing it with our own guts, with our risk, right? The risks that we take. And that's how I'm going to start the show out here in just a minute. But we do that. We are unique amongst the rest of the world because the rest of the world works for a business, right? To produce their revenue or their income. And so it's just a different mindset. It's a different mentality. Nothing wrong with it. But if you happen to be one of us, if you happen to be a merchant, right? If you happen to be an entrepreneur, if you happen to be a business owner, you have a different mindset. We're built differently. We're wired differently. Mark Anderson, and I say this every week, he said, if you are truly a business owner, you can't not be a business owner. You just are drawn to it. And it's a form of rebellion. It's a form of, I don't want to be told when to be sick. I don't want to be told when to take my days off. I don't want to be told how much I'm worth. I want to go out and figure that out for myself by playing this game called business. And it's a game that very few people win at, and even fewer people are able to exit, right? To be able to sell that business and be able to move on to something else. So that's what this show is targeted around. It's around being built to exit. It's targeted around really one realization that I came to that changed my business life, which was everybody exits. How matters. Okay, everybody exits. There's three types of exits. There's the involuntary exit where you fail and go out of business, and that's 90% of the people that start a business. 90+% will never see their 10th birthday. Okay, and so if that's the case, then you don't want to have an involuntary exit. You know, people pass away while they're building a business, while they're in the business. And those are some of the tragic things that we've seen, is that when somebody passes away, they have it all in their head. They've got a family that they were taking care of. There's a big mess left behind for them. And we've had to rescue, some of those businesses out of that spot. But you don't want to leave that as a mess. You don't want to leave that involuntary exit to your family and have them have to straighten everything out. The second one is dictated. And I've had the involuntary exit 3 times, and it was bang, bang, bang. It was not fun. It was embarrassing. It was soul-sucking. It was, caused a divorce for me. There was so many things that the involuntary exit did that was not fun. Dictated exit. Now that's when I got a little better at business. I built something that somebody else actually wanted to purchase from me. And what happened in that scenario was I sat down across the desk from the people that knew how to buy a business, and they kicked my ass. Right? They kicked my ass. They probably got my business for half of what it was worth, and it took like 3 years to be able to get all the money. That's when I realized price, terms, and timing, those are the things that matter when you're going to sell your business. Price, terms, and timing. And so then I said to myself, I don't want to go through that ever again. And I created what's now trademarked as the custom tailored exit, right? It was a custom tailored exit to the buyer. It was a custom tailored exit to what I wanted out of it. And I went into it. Once I figured out what the formula was for how people bought businesses, then I just formulated my business. You're building your business to solve a problem in the marketplace, which means you have a set of customers that you've fallen in love with their outcomes. That's the base of the business. That has to exist before anything else exists. You have to build what's called an optimized, profitable business. Now, once it's there, now you're building a parallel track to where you're building a business for somebody else to acquire. Whether you want to keep it for 10 years, 20 years, pass it down to your kids, whatever it is for you, there's going to be an exit. And so that exit at the end of the day, that exit, you want to have it custom tailored. If it is passing it to your kids, there's a strategy for how to do that. If it's something that you want to sell to somebody else, there's a strategy for you to be able to do that. This show is for people who want to take the future of their business, the future of their retirement, the future of what's happening in their financial life into their own control. We talk about it here, real business owners. As I said, my wife and I are currently in acquisition mode in one area. We're in exit mode on another area. We're constantly doing this. We are in business. We have businesses that are operating right now. And where the built to exit system came from was me learning these lessons and building into a custom tailor. We eat our own dog food at Built to Exit. We eat our own dog food in the businesses that we own. I'm in the trenches. We're doing it. Again, as I said, this last week, we just onboarded a major medical deal where we're going to be in acquisition mode a bunch of times. And then we're going to Vegas to roll out a technology partnership in the world of AI that we just formed. So we're in it. We're in it. We're building businesses. We're buying business. We're selling businesses. We're in the cannabis space. We're all over the place. And we have Built to Exit, which happens to be my passion, to be able to teach people along the way so that we can help each other, right? That's why we exist. That's why Built to Exit exists. I wish Built to Exit would have existed when I was growing my companies. That's it. So here on Saturdays, we just talk about stuff. You're going to get probably what somebody else would pay, charge $5,000. You're going to get a masterclass. So every Saturday I do my best to be able to add a ton of massive value to the people that are watching this show that own businesses. That's the outcome, right? That's our mission statement for this show. Add a ton of value to people who are just like us so that our world of merchant, the small and mid-sized businesses, those of us that do 60% of the GDP here in the United States, 18 to 20 trillion dollars, right? We do 60% of the hiring so that we can be strong, support each other, do business with each other, so we don't get out of control with these multinational businesses and the governments. We don't want to have to bifurcate our choices. We don't want our kids having to choose between two things: go to work for a soulless multinational corporation, or to go work for the government. We want that third fork, right? That third piece, which is where we exist, that choice to determine your own outcome. That's what Built to Exit is, and that's what we talk about each and every week. So welcome to the show. I'm glad you're here. If you come hang out with us in the live show, you'll get to meet a ton of people who've been with us for years and years, and they're doing really, really amazing things. I just want to pause and say thank you to everybody that's out there in the live audience. I see you. I see Christopher. Jonte, my man. I think they call, that guy's playing basketball and crushing it. I saw him with LeBron James the other day. And Brianna, welcome. Ruben, good to see you. Jennifer, always good to see you. And we'll see you all over in the live portion. So let's get started. Today's show is really, it's really targeted. I want you to realize a couple things as we get rolling into the show. There's two things that really blow me away. We could have called this show the Guilty and the Martyr. Right. And there's a book, and I have it here. It's some of the stuff that we're going to talk about, but it's called Profit First. It's an unbelievably good book. Again, we talk about distinctions and turning the dials. And sometimes I've had a lot of people tell me when I say the words, everybody exits, how it matters, that's a shift for them, that 2 degree, that enough to touch that wire that says, oh, I've been thinking about this all wrong. And when you think about it, when 90% of companies are failing and they're consuming traditional guru wisdom, buying the traditional books, going to the common seminars and hanging out with each other, there's a commonality that starts to percolate to the top that makes you realize, oh, no shit, no wonder that everybody's failing at business, because they're all consuming the same horse crap, right? Me included. Back when I started this, I went to every guru thing. I bought all the stuff and started to realize, you know what? The gangsters of business, the real gangsters of business are the ones that have been in business for more than 10 years. That's who you start learning from. The second set of gangsters that you want to learn from are the people who are buying businesses, because they understand what levers to pull. They're not buying a business and hoping for something to work out. They're looking at your business going, okay, what levers have they not pulled? I have a strategy for my business. What levers have they not pulled that I can go in and buy an undervalued asset that is going to appreciate in a predictable way, so that my investors or me or my whatever, and I'm speaking on the terms of the business buyers, the private equity firms that are out there massively interested in buying profitable, well-run, organized businesses right now, that those are the things that they're looking for. And so it would make common sense for you and I, as small and mid-sized business owners, for us to go, what's your formula? What do you look for? What do you want? And now it becomes, because again, I will tell you on the acquisition side, what people want to do is they want to find diamonds in the rough. They want to find a business that has some of the components and that they know how to pull those levers and dials to make that business something that is profitable, something that they can make a return on. All right. So what we want to do on our side, and that's what Built to Exit is all about. My team at B2X, we're some of the only sell side advocates that are in the marketplace. Most advocacy and most of the things are surrounding that sale to be able to pay what they want and take the money that they want. And the advocacy is on the buyer side, because they're seen as, rightly so, by the way, they're the ones that are seen as the controlling entity in a purchase. I want to shift that. I want to shift that back. Again, those of you that followed me for 5 minutes, you know that I don't like bullies, and I don't like I don't like it when people spend an inordinate amount of time, take an inordinate amount of risk, and do the work to see them getting taken advantage of in that last phase of building a machine that is worthy of purchase. That's what we're here for. Sell-side advocacy. Whether you ever hire us, whether you ever pay us anything, you're going to get a tremendous amount of value. So we're going to start talking a little bit about one of those shifts, right? That book that I was showing you earlier, Profit First, Michael Michalowicz. I don't know how to say his name, but great book. Highly recommend it. A couple of points that I wanted to make came out of that book, and but there's a lot more that we're going to talk about. So let's get rolling into it, okay? You're doing the work. Company's growing, revenue's flowing, but somehow you're still not getting paid. This is the premise, okay? If we were to go to the actual premise, what Profit First did was flip the idea. When I said the show could be called Martyrs, and the Guilty and the Martyr, in business, we get to this place in business where it's like we're supposed to suffer, right? We're supposed to be the last ones that get paid. There's a lot of truth to that, because you're building something of note that takes sacrifice. It takes really shooting from a different angle. It does take in some areas that sense, but that's the startup in us, right? That's the startup. When you shift out of startup and you start to go into optimization, you start to go into continuity, you start to go into, I'm building my business to exit, there's a little bit of a shift that has to take place, right? Your people should, number one, your customer should come first. You should fall in love with their outcome, number one. Number two, you should fall in love with the outcome of your employees, right? Those are principles that matter. Now, when it comes to the money that's coming into the business, the same principle of martyrdom should not exist, okay? Because you have to produce security when you're constantly worried about where your next paycheck is going to come from, where you're not your next paycheck, but your rent or your whatever you're worried. When you're in that mode, it's very difficult to be in a mode of innovation and a relaxed mode where you're putting out energy that's going to attract more customers, that's going to attract the right employees, that's going to give you the extra time, that barrier of time that you need to create to say, I'm going to jump into that area and I'm going to start working on my business. I'm going to start building it to actually exit. There's strategies, there's things that you have to put in place, right? That we don't get to because we get into this martyrdom arena and we forget we forget that you're taking a risk and that you should get paid for that risk. Okay, that's period, end of sentence. So what the book does, Profit First does, is it switches in a traditional thought process, in the martyrdom mindset, it's sales minus expenses equals profit. Right? In the mindset that we're going to talk about today, it's sales minus profit equals expenses. So what, the whole entire thing, right? This forces you as a business owner to intentionally allocate profit first, right? So successful companies bleed cash. It's interesting to me all the time when again, with the work that we do, because we do interventions, we do turnarounds, we do, we prep companies for acquisition, which means we see all of this, right? We see all of the things that go wrong in thought processes for business owners, why they bleed cash. There's leaks that are killing your bottom line, how to restructure your company. So let's go through some of the principles. We made $1 million and I paid myself less than when I had a job. How many times, if you've run into this as a business owner and you're watching this, say, that's been me, right? That's been me. I made $1 million. I go to everybody, I'm like, yeah, I got $1 million. I might even be on the Inc. 500 or whatever as one of the fastest growing businesses on the face of the planet. The fastest growing businesses do not equal the most cash flow, right? They don't equal the most profitable companies. Traditionally speaking, I used to wait on the other side of that list. That used to be the indicator list for me to go look at businesses that were soon going to be on the chopping block, that were soon going to be available for sale, because anybody can make a big burst of sales. Anybody. It doesn't take any talent whatsoever to have a product or service to be able to go out there and make a bunch of sales. You can sell them at cheaper, you can sell them at a loss, takes no talent. What takes talent is being able to capture the profit from those and to make money and then to turn it into a business, a sustainable business over time, right? So let's just keep going through this. I got a lot of slides today. Successful companies, most of the companies that you're doing business with are cash poor, right? They look at how much money's coming in through the door and they go, oh, that's my revenue. I need to go out and I need to sell more. Yes, there's a statement that a lot of people use in the business world that says sales cover a multitude of sins. Okay, sales covers a multitude of sins, which is true until it's not true. Right? It's true until it's not true. Warren Buffett has a saying. He says, you find out who's swimming naked when the tide goes out, right? And what he's talking about is when the economy takes a dip, or something happens, there's an interruption in your cash flow or whatever. You find out who's swimming naked, and we're finding that out right now. Right? Because of the challenges in the marketplace, we're seeing a ton of gurus that are freaking out. You've got AI that's coming in that people that know how to run a business go, oh, there's another tool, let me plug it into my machine, as opposed to some people's businesses are getting completely wiped out because they weren't actually adding a ton of value. Okay? So these are the types of things that we have to address is things like this, right? That you take revenue, you mistake it for margin. Making $1 million, and this is what I want you to pay attention to, because you see most of the gurus that are out there. This is $100 million and $1 billion, and then and we're going to take you from $10,000 a month to $10 million a month. All of the stupid shit that they say, and they're trying to gain your confidence, right? Because they're saying, "Oh, I sold a company for $100 million." I know a lot of these people. I have spoken on the same stages as them. I know a lot of them personally, and I can tell you that just because you sell your company, it sounds impressive. When somebody says, I sold my company for 10 million, I sold my company for 20 million, I sold my company for 100 million. That's not, to the uneducated ear, that makes you go, oh my goodness, I should really follow that person because they sold their business for $100 million. That's not the case. You got to ask the deeper question. How much did you keep? You have no idea how many 10, 20, 30, $50 million sales that I've seen out there that the person who was making the $50 million sale walks out $2 million in debt. And it was a desperation sale because they could not sustain the cash flow on running the business. The only other option to them selling was them closing and going out of business. And somebody walked in and go, oh, I could take the advantage of this. That person is worn out. They didn't build the exit. They don't have processes and procedures. They don't have all these things. So now I can go swoop in and take advantage of this person's bad decision making and uneducated approach to business. We don't like that. We want the people who build the value, that build that company. We want them to be the ones that get the advantage of their hard work and putting it in. Okay, that's the whole thing. The whole reason we do here. So 10%, blah, blah, blah. Let's go through some of this stuff. The owner, generally speaking, is the last in the pay line, right? You're paying vendors payroll taxes, hoping that there's leftovers. Selling more, growth outpaces your systems. We speak a lot about systems. If there was one thing, be it the built to exit, we call it the built to exit system for a reason. There's a methodical way, right? A methodical way. This new business that we just partnered with created an unbelievable brand and built it just like you and I probably started our companies, where it was built on, let's go see if this will work out, and then all of a sudden it does work out, and it starts to grow, and you want to take a look at that, and you go, oh my gosh, and you're starting to piece things together, maybe not in a strategic way, but just thinking to yourself, oh my God, this shit actually worked. this shit actually worked. And then you have to go back at some point. Most of the time, that's duct taped together, and it's a machine that's duct taped together that's running down the freeway at about 150 miles an hour, and eventually it's going to break apart. Now, best thing to do is to take a pit stop, go, oh, this is actually working. Let's put this machine together so that it can handle. We're not going 150 miles an hour yet, but let's put it together so it can handle 150 mile an hour outcomes and input from the marketplace, right? That's where a system comes into place. That's what Built to Exit has done. There are great consultants out there that know how to do these things, but we put it together in a system because we see in the marketplace there's a lot of emotional selling. There's a lot of gurus who don't actually know what they're doing. They've never really truly built a business, but there are people who know how to do it. We're just one of them. We know how to put it together. We know and understand that. So here's another big one: financial illiteracy. Okay, financial illiteracy is a big ass deal. I want to address this just from a component of, going back to when I was financially illiterate. It was, it's one of those things. You just have to decide that business speaks in numbers. And just like if I went to China right now, I don't speak Chinese. So I would either have to have an interpreter and trust what they say. And that's what most people do with their bookkeepers. Or I know a guy, like my cousin does books, or I have somebody in my eyes, they're good with numbers, or, we hire that out to somebody that supposedly understands numbers, when generally speaking, 80% of the people that you're going to hire to do your books don't really understand the acceleration. They don't understand velocity of cash. They don't understand the basic principles. They do know how to balance a checkbook, and they do know how to put things in the right columns, but they don't know how to interpret the language of business, which speaks in numbers, and how to allocate that so that you can make better decisions each and every time you get a new number in your business. Right? Most people are running their businesses on a P&L and a balance sheet. It would blow you away to know how many businesses are running it in their mind. They run it based on what's left in the bank account, right? That it's unbelievable to me how many people are doing that. Well, when you shift that when you're looking at getting a P&L, for instance, it comes out maybe the 15th of the following month. Now you're operating on very old data. Think about AI. You're dealing with immediate instant feedback right now. And what we're doing is we're operating on ancient thought processes and things that happened 45 days ago. Think about, if your dog peed in the carpet and 45 days later you rub their nose in it, it's not going to mean anything, right? It's the same exact principle. You want to have that instant feedback. Now, the masters in business, they project those numbers forward because it's pretty predictable what's going on in your business. We built out, for our clients, every single one of them, one of the first things that we do is we build out a 13-week rolling cash flow. Not going to jump into that today, but if you feel some kind of way, just start training in the world of financial literacy. Start learning the language, right? Start getting comfortable with it. If it makes you feel stupid, I remember what that felt like. But you're not going to, nobody's really great at something the first time that they try it. Look at it like it's a sport. And the more that you get into financial literacy, then if you're good at what you actually do as a business, your financial literacy is going to expand that. It's going to increase that. And you're going to be able to sit down across the table, which is all we do, really. Our outcome, remember, for my wife and I first, me and my business partners that we do business with, our first objective is to be the controlling entity at the closing table. What do we want to control? We want to control timing, terms, and the price. And so everything is gauged towards that. And we do the same exact thing with our clients. We want to, and you have to be able to have this conversation with somebody who's wanting to buy your business. Why? 2 letters, DD, due diligence. They are going to give your business a rectal exam before they buy it. And every single time that they find something out of whack or you're not financially literate, they're going to take advantage of that, and the price of your sale is going to go down, and the amount of money that they're going to ask you to put up as the owner carry is going to go up, and the amount of time that they're going to take to pay you is going to extend. That's it. You don't want to do that, right? So let's keep going. I got a lot of slides to get through here. So here's another problem. You don't have any exit framework, no leverage. We talk about that literally every week, okay? Let's talk about how to fix these 5 mistakes that are keeping you cash poor, okay? A financial dashboard, and there's a lot of them out there. Okay, we custom built one for everything that I do is custom built for myself. I've tried a lot of off the shelf things. We custom build stuff, but because it aligns with a very strategic. Anybody that's been through the Built to Exit system, our growth course, been a client, you know that we target things very, very specifically because the relationship is between. The relationship is built on the fact that we know where we're going. When you come to Built to Exit, you want to either optimize your business or you're actually going into exit prep. So we have something that we built for ourselves. But there's a lot of financial dashboards that are out there. Getting some education on the numbers that you need to pay attention to. You can always reach out to us. We have a ton of strategists that have been certified in the B2X methodology. They're always happy to help you as well. Okay. So if you're paying yourself last, implement profit first principles. Again, just go get the book, right? Go get the book and read it. I absolutely love this thought process. And it puts your mindset into a place where you're shifting out of those 90+% of businesses that are going to fail. That book is a shift away from you listening to people who don't know what they're talking about and going down a path that is pretty certainly going to lead you to go off the rails. Okay. Growth that doesn't pay the owners, just stress with a bigger office. Let me go back to that just for a second. The world tells you that as you make more money, you have to look like you're making more money. The house has to get bigger. The car has to get faster. The jet rides have to go from, riding in the back to riding in the front to riding on private and all this, all this kind of shit. It has to dawn on you that most of the people that are promoting those lifestyles, all you have to do is wait 10, 12, 18 months to see them either dead broke or in prison. Okay? Anybody that's promoting that lifestyle at the highest level, you can see the arc of how it goes. They're ending up, look, if it makes sense in your business to have a private jet, great, have one. No, and by the way, if you want a nice car, have one. If you want a nice house, have one. That's not my point. My point is don't do shit because the world tells you that you should be doing that shit. 99% of the people that I run into in business haven't realized that the point of making money with a business and to build a business in the first place and to build it to a place where you can sell it, the point is to have freedom. It's not to be tethered down by more expensive shit trying to impress people who don't like you in the first place, right? Who are talking shit behind your back in the first place. The point of doing what we do with owning a business, for the people that are wise enough to understand it, to play the game the way that it's supposed to be played, is that we are playing it for freedom. We are we're playing this game to get to a place where I have enough money that I can choose exactly who the hell I want to do business with, what projects I want to be involved in, where I want to go in this world, what days I want to take off, do I want to have a baby, do I want to take time off, all of these kind of things. We do it for freedom. Not for these other bullshit reasons that people are trying to slap you in the face, to tell you that you're lazy, to tell you that you're fat, to tell you all of these things to embarrass you, to go, you got to get on the board, to go, rah! Bullshit. You're playing the game of business. If you're going to be in my world, if you believe anything that I believe about business, you're playing the game to create choices. You're playing the game to be a good financial steward for you and your family, to create distance between you and the wolves at the door. I watched my mom embarrassed pull out food stamps when we were kids. I stood in line for government cheese when we were kids. I got made fun of at school because of my clothes when I was a kid. I had to have coaches that would pull money out of their own pocket to allow me to play sports. I know what it's like to be in that position. And so when I saw business, when it crossed my path as an opportunity, it was like, holy shit, I can create distance for me, for my kids, for my family, for the people that I care about. Oh my gosh, I can make enough money to impact something that I care about. Feeding people, domestic violence, rescuing kids, doing whatever that like, it's a mind-blowing situation of what we have in our control, what we have at our fingertips for us to be able to create freedom. Forget the bullshit that you see on social media, please. Forget it. Play this game for your own reasons. And that reason is freedom, choice. And then you can do more. Like, I'm doing the stuff that I do because I love it. I got to choose who we did this medical deal with because I absolutely love the team. Right? Got to choose the stuff that we're doing in AI and the company that we partnered with because I love the outcome. I see the future. None of it do I have to do. If you decide to come in and do work with B2X, great. If you don't, if nobody ever bought anything from B2X the rest of my life, we're fine. And if again, it doesn't, I cannot express to you how B2X is a mission. It's a purpose. It's an outcome. It's something that I believe that needed to exist for people who are genuinely sick and tired of getting lied to, taken advantage of, and getting screwed. Okay? Because that was me. I can't tell you how many checks I wrote. Anyway, I'm going off a path here. Let's keep going. Okay? So if your growth outpaces your systems, develop SOPs, right? We talk about that a lot. You could come back. You'll see this on replay. Just go to YouTube and find Built to Exit with Jason Cisneros, and you'll see this on replay. I got to get through some of these today, okay? If you're financially literate, I saw somebody ask in the comments, resources to increase financial literacy. Learn the language, a money meeting with your finance team or advisors. Look at these 4 dials: revenue, cost of goods sold, operating expense, and owner pays. Okay? Look at that. Go buy the book, Profit First. It's a good book that starts to help you down that path. You can find free resources on YouTube on how to become financially literate. You could take local courses. There's a lot of different ways that you can buy books on the subject. You can take classes. Udemy, I believe, has some really great classes. But just start to look at finances in your business through the lens of a successful business owner. How do they look at numbers, right? What is the language that their business is speaking to them, okay? So if you have no exit framework, start building your company to exit. I'm telling you, and you might think to yourself, Jason, nobody wants to buy my business. That may be true right now. There's 2 things. Your business is creating money. It's creating a revenue. It's creating some sort of a profit stream. And then there's enterprise value. Enterprise value is what your business would be worth to somebody else. Okay? And if there's no systems, your customer relationships are not systemized, you don't have a team that, you're needed in your business. You don't have any real financial transparency. Your business, no matter how much money you're bringing in the door right now, has absolutely zero enterprise value. Okay. So you want to start building up that enterprise value. And all that means is systems, processes, framework that are predictable to a future buyer. Okay. So let's look at it this way. Okay. Here's the pyramid. Let's go bottom to top. Level 1 is revenue predictability. This is systemizing your relationship that you have with your customers. It's systemizing. Now remember, always flip aside. It's a magical thing when you can go, oh, I'm building my business to exit, to let me put myself in the seat of a buyer. Right? And what's happening out in the marketplace is you're seeing a bunch of ads from a bunch of fake ass gurus, acquisition this, and go out and buy a business, even if you don't have any experience. Don't do that. The fastest way for you to go broke is for you to go buy a business and not know what the hell you're doing. The fastest way for you to ruin your reputation is for you to go buy a business and when you don't know what you're doing. The fastest way for you to potentially go to jail is to raise money for a business that you don't know how to run from people that are trusting you with their money. Don't do it. Get educated. Okay. When you start your first business, when you buy your business, the first thing that you want to do is say, okay, I am going to have 10 customers this month. My lifetime value, my customer acquisition costs, I start to dial in those things that matter. Okay. And so level 1, revenue predictability, leads, opportunities, closes, execution, referrals, right? That's the level that you go through, to map out. Let's see. Let's go to the next one, level 2, margin optimization. Okay, revenue is vanity. Revenue is vanity. Margin is sanity. I love that saying. But revenue is, if you're running your business and pounding your chest about the amount of money that you're selling, you haven't come to the realization yet or had this sensation when you go, oh, yay, we just sold it. Oh, shit, we just sold it. That means we need to go deliver on the promise. So that's kind of one of those things. When you're at that point, now it's time to start building your business to exit. Raise your prices to match value. This is really a lot of things that these are the things that people are going to do with your business to add enterprise value once they purchase your once they come in and purchase your business in the first place. Okay, so check on your margins. Obviously, get better at what you do. When you do that, maybe you're acquiring a couple of your competitors. You're able to raise your prices just a little bit. When people get predictable, better outcomes. Okay, but these are some of the things that you can look at there. Streamline delivery with your SOPs, audit your fixed versus variable costs. You can look at these and read for yourself. Okay. Level 3, owner pay and profit systems. Quarterly profit distributions to yourself. Lock in your salary, your bonus structure, and tie it to the enterprise value. Use your net profits to de-risk your life. What do we mean by de-risk your life? You not having cash to fall back on is a risk. It's a risk in every way possible. If you have children, it's a risk of not being able to take care of them. If you have a mortgage or if you have rent payments, it's the risk of not being able to pay that. If you have overhead at the business, if you have payroll, if you have taxes that you have to pay, this is one of the things I want you to realize, that you as a business owner, this is why I talk to you every single Saturday. No matter where I'm at in the world, I'm talking to you on Saturday about this stuff because I admire you. I am so proud to be a part of the merchant class because not very many people understand us. They can't possibly understand us. They can't possibly understand the risks that we take. They can't possibly understand the fear, the feeling of outrunning the devil almost every single day because one thing can go wrong and our world can blow apart, right? So many of us have our identities tied into our businesses that if our business fails, it's like we failed. I remember my first failure in my business, it felt like a death. Right? It literally felt like a death in the family because there were so many relationships. There was 10 years tied up in what I was doing. There was my reputation, all of the things that went down the tube when I crashed that first business. Consequently, the second business, the third, they were all tied together, and I crashed 3 companies all at once. That was devastating. But as Mark Andreessen said, I couldn't not be a business owner. I had to get back on my feet. I'm not built to work for somebody else. And if you're watching me and you're sticking it out with the show, and you're coming back on Saturdays, you're not built for it either, right? I don't know. I'm getting off track a little bit. So anyway, so that's the cash pyramid. Most people are chasing that top line growth. That's not what we do. It is a factor, but it is not the game. Okay? It's not burnout isn't caused by growth. It's caused by growing without a system. I would also add that burnout is created by unmet expectations. That's a heartbreaker. When you're like, I have busted my ass in this business. I'm giving it 12, 18-hour days. It's causing me stress in my marriage. It's causing me separation from my children. It's causing this. It's causing that. Burnout is really unmet expectations. So you want your business to meet those expectations. You're not built for burnout. Lead, scale, walk away. There was a saying that was taught to me, and I can't remember who taught it to me, so I apologize. It wasn't from me. I apologize for the lack of attribution because I don't remember where I got it from. But my business is not me. I am not my business. That is one of the greatest understandings that you can get into your soul. You're building a machine that creates cash. That cash takes really good care of your employees. That cash takes really good of your customers. That cash can go to a charity of your loving. That cash is going to create the freedom. It's going to pay off your house. It's going to send your kids through school. It's going to be able to take care of your health in your older age. It's your retirement. Those types of things. It's a machine that creates cash. It is not your identity. Okay. And that's one of the greatest things that I think that you could understand about your business. Every step towards freedom means counts. Build the system, hire the team, design your exit. And we, as always, have your back here at B2X. So that was a lot for today. And just reach out if you have any questions, if you want to come hang out with us. My favorite thing right now is that I get to jump over to Twitter, go to @theJCisneros on Twitter. Make sure you're following there, and pinned at the top, you will see the spaces that we're going to jump into here in about 5 minutes after I say goodbye. We'll be over there, and you get to meet a lot of amazing people who've been with me for years, people that have never really bought anything from me at B2X, but they take these shows and they execute in their businesses, and we get to hear their wins. We get to hear the next level of their development. I want to just say thank you from my team. We've got about 30 of us that operate at Built to Exit on a full-time basis. And I want to thank you guys for following us and for sharing. The message is growing. The mission to create 600 businesses that sell for somewhere between $5 and $30 million. That's our mission at B2X, because making money for people creates trust. And I need a big bunch of us to come together so that we can never have another situation like 2020 when they told us that we were non-essential and they closed down people. It was really emotional for me when that happened, because I lost a couple of good friends to suicide because their businesses got shut down. They couldn't meet payroll. Their identities were so intrinsically tied with those companies that they made that ultimate decision. That hurt me and scarred me in a way that made me want to, just like the first time I ever heard about child rescues and child trafficking, it woke up that same piece of me that has now 10 years had me doing undercover rescues of children in the sex trade. It's the same thing for business owners. I have a passion for y'all. Again, I know that I'm our worst salesman. I would obviously love you to do business with us if you need it. But I literally don't care if you do or you don't. It doesn't matter to me financially one way or the other. It matters to me that you're successful. And if you get that out of these shows, if you get that out of, another consultant or whoever it is, as long as you succeed at keeping this eye blink of an opportunity called freedom of financial position, right? Your ability to be able to build your own business alive for the next generation, then we've done our job, right? I've paid it forward. I have the amazing life that I have because of business and because of my mentors and the people that trusted me and the people that I trusted, that I owe my life to. And so this is me giving back. This is us, hanging out with people that are just like us. It's difficult to find weirdos like us that must be business owners. and so that's who I want to hang out with. That's who I love. That's who have become my friends. That's who become my family. That's who was at my wedding. These are the people that I hang out with. I love you all. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for sharing the show. It's going far and wide. We're getting a lot of calls to be able to help people. I admire you. Remember that we forget because you're not surrounded by people who know you, they don't understand what owning a business means. They don't realize the stress, the unique spirit that it takes to be a business owner. And I just want you to know, I admire you. I know the things that you go through. I am you. We are you as a team, and that stress that we go through, the risks that you take on a day-to-day basis, and the sacrifices that you make for your employees, for your, to keep your word to your customers and still maintain being a father, a mother, a daughter, a son, to take time with your kids, all of the things that you do. Thank you for being part of my team, my family, called Merchants. And so we'll see you next week, just like always. Next Saturday, I'll be coming to you from Las Vegas, and we will have done a launch party for another company that we're associated with, and we'll be able to talk a little bit about it at that point. So go forward, crush it. Please come join us on Twitter. It's an amazing group of people. Come join us there in the next 5 minutes. I'm going to wrap it up here. God bless you. BuiltToExit.biz, JasonCisneros.com. Blah, 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 blah. Follow, subscribe, all the stuff. Okay? We'll see you next week. Peace.